Hey everyone, it's me, Ian, from the Postal Hub podcast,
And Marek from Last Mile Experts.
and we are the Last Mile Prophets. Today we're going to talk about gig economy delivery. Hazard suits on everybody because, the day will come when these companies turn a profit, right, Marek?
Will it? I mean, look at what's happening recently. We had Deliver announce that they're basically closing down and selling their tech to
That's right,
Target.
yes.
We've got UberEats moving out of several markets.
Same with
So,
foodora. They've withdrawn from some markets, especially where they were being sued by the regulator or things like that. They've withdrawn from Canada. They've withdrawn from Australia. And Deliveroo recently had received an investment from Amazon, and part of the reasoning that the regulator let it through, the regulator, the CMA or whatever they're called in the UK, was that Deliveroo is not doing so well because of COVID-19. Do you remember that?
absolutely.
So what they're being funded by VCs, a lot of these companies, and burning through money at the risk of really generalising. And now, the headline just recently in Australia was that they're reducing the commission they charge, or whatever, however they term it. Deliveroo is reducing the charge to restaurants from 35% to 30% of the total order.
Which is still outrageous.
It's quite a lot. So what's the problem here? I mean, are these models ever going to work? Is an Uber Eats or a Deliveroo ever really going to work?
The problem, you know this, Ian, the biggest issue is last mile is all about filling your capacity and doing it in an efficient way.
Yep.
And the problem with most of this, it's point to point. They're not able to get the synergy from having several meals in a
There's no
vehicle,
aggregation going on, is there?
or certainly not enough.
And whereas
And
if
I
you
think,
had this done by a regular courier driver, a courier company, you might be looking at 30 to 40 or whatever dollars for point to point, right?
and that's exactly it, Ian. That's the issue. The issue is same day super fast delivery is expensive, and either you're Amazon, who've got very deep pockets and have taken a strategic decision to subsidize it because of a bigger picture, or you get unreasonable amounts of money from your restaurant partners, which cannot be tenable, and you're still probably not making money, or you have to take a step back. And I think, I cannot see it working, to be honest, Ian.
You've made an interesting comparison with Amazon Flex, which originally wasn't it called Amazon on My Way, if you
Yeah, it was.
right, which I
Nader
like
Kabani, my boss, by the way, it was his, as far as I remember, it was his idea for the name. It was a great idea.
because I like the idea of on my way, saying, well, I'm already going that way, I'll pick something up, and that's sort of the parcel idea. Our friend from Marshall Hughes from Australia, his startup, but the comparison with Amazon is an interesting one because Amazon also started off with, I think it was with Amazon Prime Now, what might have been a minimum order of €20. And then they started introducing fees. They've changed it around a few times, their model, but it's ultimately, if Amazon's prepared to subsidise it, they're subsidising out of their own pocket, if that makes sense. They're subsidising it from Amazon Web Services or whatever they're doing in order to have a bigger play. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I think the key thing, Ian, is Amazon can afford to take a long-term picture, and they want to own the customer.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happens? You go to Alexa, who, by the way, already knows what your favorite wine is or your favorite food, and you say, "Hey, Alexa, order my groceries." And
Yep.
actually, you don't even have to think, you do nothing. It arrives same day or next day, depending upon the type of order. And actually, why should you go anywhere else? Because the selection's there, the price is going to be
So where
reasonably
does a
okay.
Deliveroo fit in with that, for example, if they're a bolt-on to restaurants?
Well, to be honest, Deliveroo will fit in in the sense that either Amazon buys them because Amazon is a model that's got some kind of long-term strategy,
Yeah.
or they have to change the model. And for me, my personal view, the ones that will work are the ones that make a tech play, which is they create an infrastructure for restaurants to
Yeah.
do their own thing. Don't charge them these outrageous fees. So probably a fee more like 10%, which is acceptable. And then the restaurant itself plans the last mile delivery.
So this is more like a traditional pizzeria, right? So you order from a pizza shop over the phone in the old days, right? And the pizza delivery guy would go out with in their little beat up Honda then go out with a number of orders and try to deliver, because you can produce pizzas quickly and it fits in with that. And you could say, well, we'll deliver within half an hour. And if you're in a small city or delivering to a small area, you could do more than one delivery in half an hour. Whereas, yeah.
Absolutely, Ian. And I, in the article, there was one interesting statistic, if I remember correctly, that most people have 4 or 5 favorite restaurants, and the chances are that they're going to be ones they know nearby.
Yeah.
In which case, that model could work, because if I'm delivering from my small local restaurant to people nearby, I can probably consolidate 2, 3 orders, maybe.
I want to throw another thing into the mix here, and that was Uber Rush. Do you remember Uber Rush?
I remember Uber Rush.
And the theory at the time was, we've got all these Uber drivers out there. We're going to have one driver on every corner, and they'll be able to pick up parcels in amongst doing everything else and optimize it. And the people who launched this didn't realize that parcels are not like humans, right?
And Ian, and that is exactly it. Why it failed is they didn't have people from the industry. So if you've got people who've never touched a parcel in their life, are super smart, but don't understand the issues, This is what happens.
So picking up a parcel, very different to picking up a passenger. Picking up a meal, very different to picking up a passenger. You have to go into the restaurant or into the business to pick up the parcel. It might not be ready, and all those things that courier drivers hate, right? They hate it.
You have to find a place to park and leave your car.
Exactly, all those sorts of things. And I always think about Lygon Street in Melbourne. Often, if I'm in there's a place I go to there, it's a fish and chip restaurant, and I see the UberEats drivers coming in, and I think, well, where are you guys parking? Because there's no parking around there. There's zero. You're kidding yourself if you're going to find a parking spot. So it's just adding to the cost and adding to the cost, unless they park illegally on the footpath or whatever it is, right? But
and that's a really good point. They then get a fine, and they say that's it. They pack it in.
And it comes back to then you can talk about turnover of drivers and drivers who get penalised on whatever system that the app runs, whether you're classified as an A-class driver or a B-class driver, and all these things within it that sort of contribute to some of the bad vibes around these apps. And I actually don't want to bag the gig economy model too much, because I actually think that if it's priced right and the customer expectations are right and the tech is right, then it could work.
Absolutely. I think the key thing, and you mentioned it, what was nice about On My Way, the original idea is you have soccer mums and students who are driving past a certain address. And I like the sharing economy. And if the gig economy could be used to ensure that trips are efficient, so somebody who's going on a route anyway can pick up a parcel or something else, that I like that. That appeals to me because it's ecologically smart, it's economically smart. But most of the ones that have actually been operating don't work that way.
No, they're basically like a traditional point-to-point courier, more or less. Anyway, I know that this will stir up a real hornet's nest, so I really would welcome everybody's comments. Comment below. Tell us what you think. Is there any chance that the gig economy delivery model will work? Whether it's a Deliveroo or an UberEats or whatever. I mean, there are a number of them out there.
Or great if you've got an example of one that's worked, because I can't think of too many.
Yeah, please share one that you think is working, that has a long-term future, and how it's going to fit into everything. I mean, we've talked previously about integrating these gig economy drivers with supermarket orders, or how is all that going to work in whatever the new delivery reality will be. Comment below. Let us know what you think. It could become the topic for a future podcast, future episode of The Last Mile Profits. Marek, Różycki, thanks for joining us today.
Ian, thanks very much. Thanks, everyone. Hey, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this episode of The Last Mile Profits.
Make sure you subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and also the notifications bell so you get a notification every time we add a new video to this channel. Look forward to sharing more stuff with you on The Last Mile Profits.